Hello everyone, I'm here today to talk to you about the Enneagram. So it's the next in my Enneagram series, but the Enneagram type 4, the Individualist. Now if I show you, shall I talk a little bit more about the Enneagram? I did so on my other videos. I talked about how, I'm going to. I'm a numerologist and that is my passion. It's very much what I base my life on. It's where my mission in life is. It's how I understand my talents, my abilities, my personality. So it's all about the numerology for me. What the Enneagram does is it adds to my numerology. And the Enneagram dug a little bit deeper into my inner world, really. The parts of my mind that, no one will ever see or hear, but the Enneagram seems to know, which I found actually quite comforting because it makes me realise that I'm not actually some weird person from a different planet. I'm actually a known type on the Enneagram and I really fit with it. And a lot of things like in my emotional life and in my thoughts and in my mind that used to make me think, goodness woman, what are you like? And I used to judge myself for them. But what the Enneagram's done is it's helped me to accept where I'm a bit broken emotionally and think, okay, I'm not the only one who's broken in this way. It's given me a way to try and it's given me a way to accept how I am, but not to stay like that, to find a way to be better. I mean, my friend said to me, and I think she's a type 4 actually, type 4s don't like to be typed. So she said to me, I'm not down with all this, with the Enneagram. I don't mind numerology so much because it's about your date of birth, but I'm not into the Enneagram. I don't see how I could be a type, I'm not like everyone else, which is your typical type 4. And she just screams a type 4. And when I say to her some like stuff that I would never know that is really related to the Enneagram type 4, she's like a bit shocked. Because what the Enneagram does, she's saying, it puts you in a box, it makes you a type. No, it doesn't actually. It shows you what box you've already climbed into, what box you already sit inside, and it shows you what box you're inside. And then, once you know what box you're in, you're in a better position to climb out of it, right? If you don't know you've put yourself in a box, or you don't know you're in a box, living in a box, how on earth are you ever going to change? So it's not about putting you in a box and saying you are this type. It's about showing you what you've developed over time and like your little bits where we all are broken in different ways. There'll be some things that other people find easy and other people just can't do for toffee. And it's the same vice versa. We all struggle with different things. So what the Enneagram does, without rambling too much, is it adds a little bit of the emotional, like the deeper stuff, the stuff that you think no one else knows or is ever going to know because it's inside your unconscious mind. The Enneagram kind of goes, well, this is you. And you go, oh my God, how did you know that? So the Enneagram latches onto my numerology and they're both my babies. And it's helped me so much that I just felt the compulsion and the need to do these same videos for you guys. Now, I've done a typing video because I've done so many questionnaires over time for the Enneagram. Some of them were, 100 questions long. And they took me like near on 40 minutes. And they still mistyped me as a 7-wing 8. And I thought, yeah, I'm getting the 7 and I'm getting the 8, but I wasn't fully resonating with it. Then I watched this amazing video from the Enneagram Institute. So if you get a chance, check out their YouTube channel. And there was this lovely young lady on there, and she presented 3 questions that if you answer them correctly, now each question takes time, so don't rush them, answer the 3 questions, you will know your correct type. I did that, 3 questions, spent a bit of time thinking about each one, came to the conclusion I'm actually an 8-wing 7. And then when I looked more into the 8-wing 7, ping, all the lights came on and I started to think, I'm not a nutter, I'm normal, or I'm broken, but I'm not any more broken than anyone else. Let's put that in a bit of a better way. I'm broken, but no more broken than anyone else out there. And there are other people that have the same, or not the same inner world, but have similar compulsions, thoughts, different contexts as me, because they're 8s as well. So, I'm going to stop rambling now, but I'm going to move on, explain a little bit what a type 4 is, what group they're in. And if you're a type 4, I really hope you find this really useful. That's all I want to do. Right, so this is the Enneagram. I took this from medium.com. I thought it was an excellent picture, posted by someone called Caroline Dane Christian. Anyway, Caroline, great picture. The only issue with it is where you can see the 2, 3 and the 4, it says image in the middle. I would change that to shame. Because the 2, the 3 and the 4 are in the shame group. And what I mean by that is they're not so, it's not the world that they think is broken as such, it's themselves. So the 2, the 3 and the 4 think there's something fundamentally wrong with them. And they're running away from shame. I mean, they're running towards things, but the main crux is they're running away from the feeling of shame. The 2 feels that they're not a value in this world if they don't help others and have others need them. And they feel that if others need them, then they're valuable in this world because they help people, they do good things. The 3 thinks that if they achieve, that makes them valuable in the world, and like they have to achieve like the prestigious career and have like people admire them and love them. But the thing is, there's a big difference between admiration and love. So for a 2, if people need me, then I'm not worthless. That's what they think. For the 3, if I achieve and do great things, then I'm not worthless. And for the 4 today, they're desperate to be an individual. They're desperate to be who they are, to find their identity. And for a 4, it's if I have no identity, then I'm worthless. Then why am I on this earth? So the 2, 3 and the 4s all have this feeling that, they're not worthy to be on this earth. But I'm telling you now, guys, when you were born and you were this tiny little baba in arms, had you achieved anything? Did you deserve to be here? Did you deserve love? Of course you did. I've got a gorgeous cat. I love him. And then we just picked up a stray cat. I love him too. He doesn't do anything. He doesn't hoover my stairs. He doesn't cook me tea. He's just there. In fact, he makes more demands, really. I spend quite a lot of money on food for them both. And, make sure that they're okay, vets visit. So at the end of the day, those cats are still worth a lot in this world and to us, but they don't achieve anything. They don't help anyone. And they certainly don't go around, talking about what their identity is. What I'm saying is the 2, 3 and 4 and everyone else on the Enneagram, everyone in this world, you are worthy just for being alive. Okay, that's the major learning point, especially for the 2, the 3 and the 4. So in my typing video, which you may or may not have watched, you may want to watch the American Enneagram one, which is where I took a lot of the information from for my typing video. Excuse me. Okay, so there was the answers to 3 core questions. Now, the first question, so if you're a type 4, this would be your top answer. So you want to be yourself. These are your wants and desires, by the way. You want to be you. You want to be yourself. You want to be understood for who you are. You don't like following the crowd because, you feel that you're not like the crowd. You're different. You're individual. But you fear having no identity and no significance in this world. Okay, so that's question 1. That's what a type 4 would answer. Question 2 was very much about, do you think a lot in the future? Do you think a lot about the future? Do you plan for the future the most? Or are you very present? Is it about what you're doing now that's the most important? Or are you very much about reminiscing and thinking back into the past? Now, we all do all 3 of those. So, if you look at my typing video, please take the time to think. Are you more of a forward thinker? Are you focused on your present tasks? Or are you a past person? Do you like to reminisce and ponder on the past? So the 4, they're more about the past, sitting and thinking about what's happened before, ponder on the past and reflect and reminisce. So very much a past person. And then the 3rd one, your center of intelligence, is how you react when things go wrong. Okay, so you can either have an anger response, a fear response, or if you're in the shame group, you have a shame response. So something goes wrong and you think, you're just heartbroken and you blame yourself. You think there's something wrong with me. That's why it's all gone wrong. It's my fault. And like you blame yourself for everything because you in some way think that you're broken in some way. And, if things go wrong, it's all your fault. So you feel shame, you feel heartbroken, you feel devastated. So if you're a 4, you want to be yourself, you want to be understood. You don't like following the crowd, you want to be you want to be the individual person. You like to ponder and think about the past, and when things go wrong, you blame yourself. So that's, if you answered these 3 questions, then you are indeed a type 4. So what do you want if you're a type 4? So just one more swig. Basically, the big thing that you want as a type 4 is you avoid that shame feeling that I keep going on about by being different. You think, I don't need to be ashamed because I'm not like everyone else. I'm different. I need different parameters. I need different rules. I'm special. I'm unique. There's no rules or anything that can show me as the same as anyone else. No typing tool. How can I feel shame when I don't live up to the norms anyway? You feel that, the rules don't necessarily apply to you because you're different, you're special in some way. I don't worry about value because I'm different. I don't fit the mold. So you don't worry about how people value you or how you value yourself because you don't believe that there's anyone else like you and you just don't meet the standards and you don't fit the mold. So none of it applies to me because I'm different, I'm special, I'm unique. You want to be known and understood. Deep desire to know who you are. Because at the end of it, even though it's a big thing for you, 4s literally often don't know who they are. It's like a lifelong search for a 4. So you want people to know you for who you are, not for what they perceive you to be. And if someone says to you, oh, I know you, you're the person that wears blue bubble hats all the time, you'll be the one that goes, actually, no, I'm not going to do that anymore then, because if you think you know me, you think you can type me, you think you can tell me what I'm going to do, that blue hat will go in the bin, man, because you don't like anyone telling you that they know you or that they've typed you. You'll just go, if they say you like turnips, you'll go off turnips and never eat them again. If you become known for being someone that loves ham sandwiches, you'll stop eating ham sandwiches and eat something really weird instead. You don't like people saying, oh, I know you, you're this kind of person, you're that kind of person, because you're just not down with that. That's the basis of you. You feel I'm unique and I'm different, and that's what gives me my value. So when someone types you and says, oh, I know you, this does not sit well with you. So you want to matter. You're always searching for that purpose. Who am I? What do I want? What am I here for? This is funny. You want to fit in. You seem to be like, you're envious of other people that seem to feel like they fit in. They seem comfortable in their social lives. They get up and they go out every day and they don't seem to worry about anything. And you're like, how on earth can they do that? How do they fit in? So you have that urge to fit in, but you don't. You don't want to fit in, but you do. Because fitting in means you're not different, you're not unique. So I watched a video over the other day, Mr. LaHue. He's an American who is a pastor of a church, I think in Florida, and he come up with this line which I had to use. Thank you, Mr. LaHue. The line was, I've just lost it. You don't want to fit in, or you want to fit in. Come on, let's get this right. Mr. LaHue will not be proud of me. You want to fit in, but you don't want to blend in. So you don't want to become invisible. You don't want to be a member of the crowd. So you want to be part of the group, but you don't want to disappear. You still want to be a known and unique member of the group. Okay, I thought that line was great, Mr. LaHue, so I've stolen it and put it in my presentation, and I will be using it in future. Thank you very much. Your sense of worth comes from being unique, and in a position that others don't fit. You like to be able to do things and wear things that other people don't wear, or do things that other people don't do. So you'd be the kind of person who'd love to be a specialist. You like to be the only one that can do something. Like, so if something goes wrong in the world, only you can help. And you would be the one that would be called in because you're the only one with the unique ability to do it. That's what you'd like. You want to get in touch with something you care about. So it's very much about, what do you like? What do I like? What do I value? What do I want from life? Who am I? That is very much a type 4 thing. You want your life to matter, and you want to live in line with your values. So you're very much about big picture. What do I value in life? You want to live to those values. You want to be known for what you believe in. That's really important to you. Recognized as unique, but also important as well. You want to be seen for who you are, not for what you can give. So who you are as a person, not for what you contribute, because you're not one that enjoys always having to contribute, because you're often not really engaged with the world. And that's something that will be in the guidance slide about getting involved with life, and going out every day and just getting your job done. Doing what you need to do, the practical, the mundane, is something that the 4 often doesn't do because they're too lost in their thoughts to take action. So you want to be seen for who you are and not what you can give. But at the end of the day, you do need to give something to this world, because people give to you. Don't know, depends on your particular circumstances, but it doesn't make you of less value. You're still value whether you work or not. Just for being alive, you have value, of course. You want to be seen for who you are, not what you can give. That's a big one for you. You want to be connected with others, but it's awkward for you. If you want to be, the thing is with connection, it's about finding that common ground. And when you're a 4 and you want to be different, finding that common ground can be a bit of a sticky wicket. Because rapport and connecting with people is very much about finding similarities. And when you're a 4, you don't want to be similar, so that causes that struggle with connecting to other people. So you want to connect, but your core desire often stops that from happening. It's crucial to you that people understand you correctly. If they say you're this, you will demand, no, that's not me at all, and you won't like it, and you'll completely change what you do to make them wrong. So, but the thing is as well, is if someone says they understand you, I'm not sure if, even if they're right, you would acknowledge that, because you don't like people knowing who you are, but you want people to understand you. This is where I see a bit of an issue here. If you want people to understand you, then if someone says something about you and you feel that that's correct, that's them understanding you, right? Maybe I'm wrong. But, if you want people to understand you, you have to connect with them a little bit. But because you want to be different, that's what puts the little bit of a struggle for a type 4 to connect with other people, because, it's about difference, not about similarity. Your work is very based on your inner life. It's not so much about the external, it's very much about your inner development, and you very much focus and look inward. You like to express your strong emotions, and you can be very sensitive and often quite moody, very emotional bee you are. My son is a 4, and he struggles to engage with life for the mundane. He can eventually, but it's not something he finds easy. And he has very strong but quiet emotions. He's your typical type 4. And at the minute he's refusing. He's saying, no, I'm not going to cut my hair or do that because, you want me to, and I'm not going to do it. So for the 4 in Thomas, my son, he is very much about, I will have my hair how I want my hair, even if it's stuck 6 foot in the air and I look like I've just been dragged through a bush backwards. He will insist that his hair stays like that. So I've thought the best strategy is to say nothing. And then one day he might decide that he's going to do something with his hair. Because I think the more I say to him, the more that makes him dig his heels in. But anyway, enough about me. So you get in touch with emotional lows. Where am I? You like shared authentic thoughts and emotions now. How can I explain this? And you get in touch with emotional lows. A friend of mine recently lost her son in an accident, which was absolutely horrifying for us all, especially her and her other son. And what my son seemed to excel in is when my friend came over, he was the one that he's normally quite disconnected and will go off on his own. But when he saw my friend with her heart breaking because her gorgeous son had passed on to the other world, he was just amazing. He sat there with her through the complete lows of the evening, and he just supported her to the point where she was just flabbergasted. He just went to the bottom of the barrel with her. He said all the right things. He did all the right things. And he was just there. He never left her the whole time. That's not like my son. He's normally gone in a few minutes when people turn up. But it really made me realise how much of a type 4 he is. Because I wasn't sure before. I was wondering whether he was a 5. But I think he's a 4-wing 5, most definitely. So he's able to get in touch, as any 4 is. They're not worried about emotional issues like a 7 would be. 7s want to avoid like negative emotions, and they'll run a mile. They'll say, oh, let's go and do something else and distract us. But, 4s are able to listen to that person whose heart is breaking and go to the bottom of that barrel with them and then help them get back up. I just think that's an amazing ability. You're good at investigating your feelings. For you, feelings come first. It's like feelings come first, then you think about it, and then action comes last, or action doesn't come at all because you're too busy still in your emotional pondering part of everything. You're not one for action. My son definitely thinks a lot, but he doesn't follow through. That action is often missing. You feel, then you overthink, then you dwell. But the thing is with that is 4s think that your emotions tell you who you are. Emotions are a fleeting feeling. An emotion can only tell you who you are in that moment in time. Okay, so a good thing for a 4 to do is stop thinking that whatever emotion they're feeling at that time, that's who they are. Like if I'm feeling sad, then I'm sad. If I'm feeling moody, then I'm moody. And they think that's who they are as a person. But remember, emotions are a fleeting thing. They come and then they go. You believe you are what you feel. Next time you get that, just let that feeling pass. It doesn't define you because you have a feeling or an emotion. Emotions are not stable. They're fleeting. You could be happy one minute and then something rubbish could happen and you'd be down, or vice versa. They don't define you. And, 4s make the mistake that they use their emotions to define them. And that's going to be in the guidance slide about like realizing when you're placing your own identity in the same position as what emotion you're feeling at that moment, which is unstable and it's not who you are. You surround yourself with meaningful things, beautiful things, weird, dark things, all different things that stimulate an emotion within you. So you could have one wall that stimulates sadness. You could have one wall that you feel that stimulates weirdness or questions, and one wall that makes you feel angry or sad. And your room or your house tends to look like, the mixture of beautiful and a mixture of weird. You use props and things within your home, pictures, toys, ornaments, to help stimulate an emotion within you. Remember, you're very focused on your emotions as a 4. And these are like props that help you strike emotions, that help you identify you and identify your personality. But as I've said, emotions don't define you. So when you're looking for who you are through your emotions and you're controlling those emotions through props, that's not who you are, because all you're doing is changing your emotion in the moment and feeling something different. That's not who you are. If you want to feel sadness, you look at something that makes you feel sad in your room or your house. So you control your emotions with these props, and you feel that helps you understand yourself and helps you fix your personality. And as I said, emotions being fleeting, it's going to be difficult to do that using your emotions. In fact, impossible for you to do that. You seek to connect with others in a more deep way than just on the surface. You're not bothered with small talk, how's Auntie Barb, how's Auntie Marge? I mean, my son, when you ask him things like that, you'll get, yeah, no, all right. So how's college? It's all right. You just get them one word answers. And, my mum would ask him questions like that, and I go, it's all right, mum, you'll only get one word answers out of him when it comes to that. But then if he's talking about something a bit more deeper or something that he's thinking about a bit more, he will be a bit more articulate and express himself a little bit more. So he does, and 4s do seek to connect with others. Not so bothered about the small talk. They want meaningful stuff. If they're going to talk to you, because they're not big on it, if they're going to talk to you, that it's got to mean something to them. It's all part of their, it's got to mean, what does it mean to me? What are my values? What do I want? What are my goals? Who am I? That's the 4. You want to be true to yourself. You want to be who you are, true to your ideals. And what's important to you. The problem is a lot of 4s actually underneath it all have no idea who they are. They don't know that's what they struggle with. That's why they're a 4, is they actually, as much as they want to know their identity, have absolutely no idea who they are as a person. Self-expression is important to you because you feel you're expressing the authentic you, as long as it's not just all based on your fleeting emotions, but you're not afraid to express those emotions because you feel that that's expressing you. Sometimes, yeah, but not always. You're not afraid to express that you're different. Well, that's something you don't want to be like everyone else, but you want other people to accept you for being different. Okay, you don't want people to judge you and be nasty to you to be different. You want people to accept you for that. You want sympathy and engagement without trying to fix you. So if you want to talk, or sometimes you will communicate with people and open up, but you don't necessarily want somebody to step in and go, right, this is what we're going to do and this is how I'm going to fix you. You just want somebody there to listen, because if somebody tries to step in and fix you, you're going to dig your heels in and tell them to do one. So sympathy and engagement without them trying to take action or push you or make you do anything or trying to fix you. Okay, so if you know a type 4, or you're friends with a type 4, you have a family member that's a type 4, and they, you chat to them about something, it's not always about trying to find a solution for them. They just want to open their heart, express their emotions, and for you to respond and listen back. Okay. You can be seen as melancholic and withdrawn and quite miserable. You want relationships with people to know the real you. This can be a difficult one because you often don't know the real you. So you want people to know you. So you're happier with people that you have a bit more of a deeper relationship. You're not one for having loads of like social butterfly relationships. You're the sort of person that has fewer people in your life, but your relationships run deeper than just, hi mate, how are you, fancy a beer after work? So you hate being typed, as I said earlier. You think you know me, then I'll do the opposite. Mr. LeHughes makes comments like, you think you know me? I love the American accent, by the way. Anyway, you hate being typed. You sort of say things like, don't put me in a box. I'm different. I'm unique. You can't type me because there's been no one like me before. And if you act like you know me, then I'll do the opposite to show you that you don't know me. But really, deep down, you want people to know you and understand you, and you want to connect with others. Most of the types do this. We contradict ourselves all the time, and this is how the 4 contradicts themselves. The 8 does it, 7 does it, all of us do it. We want one thing and then we reject it. We do one thing and then we don't do another thing. We're very inconsistent, us as human beings, and 4s are no different to anyone else. So you try different personalities, you try sort of, try different ways of being because you're not sure who you are. You might have been, especially when you were younger, you might have been the goth, and feeling, or the skinhead, or, anything where you feel that basic social norms aren't being adhered to, because they don't apply to you. You like to dress that little bit differently, and maybe listen to music that's a little bit different, collect different things, go to, anything that some people might consider a bit weird, the 4 would be quite drawn to. So the 5 are the 4-wing 5 is very drawn to the hard facts and the sciences, but oh no, what am I doing? Yeah, let's just get this right. The 4-wing 5 is like more into knowledge and facts and sciences. And the 4-wing 3 is about achievement. So when it comes to your personality, and I'm going to talk about the wings in a bit, you've got your core 4 personality, but you've got 2 wings there. Now, if you use one wing more than another, you're going to go around in circles and you ain't going to get nowhere, baby. If you use just the other wing, you're going to go around in circles in the other direction and guess where? Nowhere. You use both those wings and lean on them wings at the most appropriate time when you need them. You're going to fly, baby, and you're going to get somewhere because you're just not going around in circles. So for the 4, leaning on their 3 wing makes them more about achievement and more about getting things done, which would be good for the 4 because they often, action is their last thing they do. They're very emotional and they think a lot, but 4s don't tend to act quickly. They don't get involved in the world. But if you're a 4-wing 3, you will find that a little bit easier. So lean on your 3 wing to get out into the world a little bit more, get things done, achieve something, not because it will make you more valuable, but because it will make you more of a balanced person. And when you're balanced, you're happier. So then you can lean on your 5 wing as well and learn and investigate and, leaning on both these wings. Go more towards the hard facts because the 4 is very much about the mythical and the spiritual and the intuitive. But if you lean a little bit on your 5 wing, you'll get a little bit more rationality, a bit more facts that other people understand as true. So it's not just about your fantasy and what you believe. You've got a little bit of the 5 that you tip to when you need it, which gives you more of the accepted facts, the science, the maths, the things that we know are true. And then you lean on your 3 side when you need to achieve in the world. You see what I'm saying? See how that makes you a balanced person? When a 4 isn't one for action, the 3 can help. And when the 4 isn't one for coming out of this quiet, intuitive, mystical world that can make them have weird ideas, leaning a bit on the 5 brings you a bit into the real world, a bit into the facts, if you know what I mean. The accepted rather than the fringe ideas. So this kind of balance will keep you balanced as a person. Okay. Anyway, I've jumped ahead. You try different personalities. You may not want a job. Remember, you're not action orientated. You're not one for getting out there in the world. And you're not in to join in teams. You like to do your own thing. You'd be good working for yourself, but you'd need to take action without because you're too much about your emotions and your thoughts. You need to mix a bit of action in there. You're always looking at how people are different rather than how they're similar, which sets others apart. And it's good to look at how people are different as well, but it's not conducive for connecting with others, if you know what I mean. But in health, it's not just about what you struggle with as a 4. You're extremely self-aware. You know who you are, and that's a vital skill for anyone. You're creative. You can think outside the box. So because you like being different, you're more inclined to think in a different way or do things in a slightly different way. You're captivated by beauty as you imagine all the weird and wonderful things that you put in your environment to express an emotion, to help you and express an emotion, help you express yourself. Highly personal. When a 4 talks to someone, they don't want to be on the level. They want to get deep. They want to know you. They want to connect with you. Highly personal. They'd be great counselors. The depth that a songwriter can go to, like Adele. It wouldn't surprise me if Adele wasn't a type 4 Enneagram, because her songs will take you to the depths. Hello from the outside. I see Adele. When I think of a type 4, I think of Adele. I don't know if she's a type 4. I've never really looked into it, but she's like, for me, the archetypal songwriter, type 4, melancholic, in touch with emotions, maybe a musician, maybe a poet. Artistic, that's very emotional. Anything creative, basically, even if it's to do with clothes or homewares, anything creative and emotional like that is very much a type 4 thing. Understand the darkness to understand the light. And that's what I said earlier, that the 4 is quite more than able to go to the depths of despair with someone and stay with them and listen and say the right things and do the right things. I mean, your type 4 is definitely your funeral director as well. They're just amazing at helping people to deal with their deep emotions. And it doesn't faze a type 4 at all to be in that kind of environment. So definitely a type 4 would be a great funeral director as well. You're the deep sea diver of the soul. Like I said, you like to go deep. You want to connect with people. You want to plunge into the depths of their psyche and their emotions. And you're comfortable with allowing investigation of your feelings and other feelings. You like all that feelings investigation. But what you don't want is, you don't want someone to think, well, how can I fix you? You're not down with that. You just want to express your feelings. You want people to understand them, but you don't necessarily want person to change them or fix them. Okay, which is what, say, an 8 might try and do. The 8s are the action people. They just want to get things done. So if a 4 tells them something, they're going to be the one, right, what do you want me to do about it? And the 4 will be like, nothing, just listen. And the 8's like, well, what are you telling me for then? If you don't want me to take action or do something about it, what are you telling me for? So, that's how like the types can be quite different. And you may notice that in your relationship, if you're a 4 and a type 8, the type 8s just want to take action and fix you, and all the 4 wants is just someone to listen and understand them. They don't want someone to fix them. Where am I? You see what could be done to improve. You find out what's missing. You look at what's wrong. So you're the editor, the problem solver, the what is it when you look at things? Quality control. When you look at products that someone's made and you say, no, that's not going, that's rubbish, you need to do that again. Quality control. So they look at what needs to be improved and they find what's missing and they get it done. They'll show others where they're missing the boat. And where they can take up other opportunities, they'll say things like, oh, what you don't know, you're missing this and you should do this and you should do that. As I've said, I don't know why I've put that extra one in there, in touch with your feelings, and you're able to control your emotional state through art and your surroundings. That's what I said earlier. You use props to help you understand your emotions, and you can do that. So very much an actor. You could put props out on a stage and every prop on that stage could bring forward an emotional state that would make you the best actor or actress ever, because the emotions you convey to your audience. You can sense the emotions of others, read between the lines. You're very intuitive, very a gut person. You look at what's underneath. Remember, you're the deep sea diver. You're not so interested in what others say or what's on the surface. You like to dig deep, sense the emotions of others rather than it being a covert thing, an overt thing. Read between the lines, be perceptive, be intuitive. You're the person that can help anyone through rock bottom emotions, grievance counsellor, funeral director, any kind of counsellor that deals with tragedy in people's lives. You would just be amazing. You'll do a job that counts for something important, so that means something. So what better than being a counsellor and helping people through deep emotions? I mean, to me, you need money, of course we all do, but it's more about meaning than money for a type 4. Remember, they're very deep. Issues is the root issue for a 4 is envy. And what I mean by that is, like, they put themselves down and they say things like, why is everyone else, for want of a better word, better than me? Why can they be happy in life and I'm not? Why have they got that and I haven't? Everyone has purpose and meaning. Everyone knows who they are but me. And, that can make you, you just think everyone else knows what they're at apart from you, and that you just don't cope as well as them, or there must be something fundamentally broken within you. You're afraid you're less important than others, personally broken, on a continual search for what is missing in yourself, searching for identity. You compare yourselves with others, focusing on what you lack. You see others as better. This is part of the shame thing. The 2, the 3 and the 4, they believe that they're not worth being here unless they do something in order to be worth. Like a 2, they make people need them. The 3 achieves and makes people admire them and love them. And the 4, they want people to see them as different, so they don't have to feel shamed. The 3 doesn't have to feel shamed because they achieve. The 2 doesn't have to feel shame because they help people that need them. And the 4 doesn't need to feel shame because they're not like everyone else and they don't fit the same rules and they don't fit the same standards. So, you're sort of on a continual search for what is missing in you. You think there's something broken in you. You think everyone else is better than you, or has a better life than you, or does things better than you. You nurse old wounds and grudges against others that didn't treat you well in your past. You need to let go of some things that really bring you down in your emotions a lot. And you might even have a prop in your house that brings up the emotion of somebody that's hurt you, and you keep going through those emotional wounds. You want to come past, that. You don't want to let old emotional wounds hold you back. You long for a rescuer that will save you, that will bring you comfort, a better experience in life. You long for a better world. It's all about longing for the type 4. You don't realise the treasures that already exist in your life. You could have 3 gold cups and you're upset that the 4th one is broken or been stolen, and you're so upset that the 4th one has gone that you don't realise that you've still got 3 golden cups there, still waiting, looking at you, ready to use. So you sort of focus on what's rubbish and don't realise what's good in your life, and you need to really think about what's good in my life. Instead of believing that everything is just bad, at the end of the day, bad things happen. It didn't happen because of you. You didn't cause it. Bad things just happen. You shouldn't feel shame if something goes wrong because it's not your fault. You feel first, then you think, but you struggle to act because you end up getting stuck in your feelings, like I said earlier, detached from the real world, and then you don't get involved in life. You're one of them ones like a 5 that could stay holed up in their room or in their house at home and not seeing anyone. But the thing is, the 4 needs to emotionally connect with others. So that's, you need to get out there and engage with the world. You don't need to overanalyze your feelings. You could just let these feelings pass, because remember, feelings are fleeting. They mean nothing, and they don't last for any amount of time. And make your feelings, you make your feelings who you are, but they're fleeting. That's what I've just said. I want to read through that one again. You feel like you don't fit in. You feel like you're outside the group, but you don't really want to fit in, do you? You do, but you don't. That's another issue that the 4 has. They want to fit in, but they don't want to fit in. Because to fit in, you have to be like everyone else, and you don't want to be like everyone else. So you want to fit in without blending in. How you do that is a lifelong search, really, of how you fit in without blending into insignificance, because, God, that won't do at all. I like this analogy. I got this from Mr. LaHue as well. If everyone wears jeans, you'll wear trousers. And if everyone likes the colour blue, you just like the colour red. You just want to be different to everyone else. And what everyone else does, you can't do that. If others are having fun, because you're so in touch with your emotions, you're the one that will run off crying and then feel valued when others run after you. You often withdraw from others to deal with your feelings. That's something that you need to do. But when everyone else is having fun, you feel compelled to have a different emotion, like to feel sad. And then that adds to your value when people run to your aid and they care enough to see if you're okay. So, at parties, you can be a bit of a stick in the mud and a bit emotional, at times. You fear loss and abandonment. You feel like you may lose love because you're flawed. That's sad. You think because there's something wrong with you, people are going to stop loving you, and that's terrible. And it's wrong, because we're all flawed. Trust me, we're all flawed. And we're all worthy of love. You don't have to help anyone. You don't have to help anyone. You don't have to achieve anything. You don't have to do anything to be of value in this world. Just for being alive, you have value in this world. Remember, you spoke to your spirit guide before you came here. Sorry, the numerologist within me. And there's a reason why you're here. You're here for a reason. It's not just random. It's not a waste of time. You're here to take the next steps in your evolution. So just being alive and developing yourself makes you of value. Everyone is of value. Even little kittens are of value, and they don't achieve anything. They don't help anyone. They don't go around saying, "Who am I?" Of course they don't, but they're still of value. So you don't need to feel loss and abandonment because you've got this feeling that you're flawed in some way, because you're not. We're all flawed. Defend against love by saying, "I'm not good enough for it." So you're worried about this loss and the abandonment, so you step away from it because you think, if I don't love in the first place, then I can't get hurt. A lot of people do that. Afraid of being unheard and ordinary, afraid of blending in. Mundane or fitting in is not great for the 4, but they do need to get involved with the world and do the mundane in order to, to connect with the world a bit more, to develop and become a more balanced person. You as you said, you're quite melancholic, so you find it hard to be happy, because you focus on what you feel is missing within yourself. So sometimes you can be, and remember, emotions are a big thing for you, deprive yourself of happiness just to be different. It'd probably be nice for you to go to the cinema and watch a popular film, but you may have decided that because I'm different, I don't watch popular films. I don't watch what everyone else watches. That's a vulgar film. I'm different. I'm unique. I don't do that. So you kind of are depriving yourself of quite a nice little outing with your friends, because you've decided that you don't watch films like that. So don't deprive yourself of happiness just because you want to be different, just to put on a show of difference. Don't miss out on enjoyment because you can't do what others do. Paint yourself into a corner, basically. You're going to paint yourself and put yourself in a corner. I don't do that. I don't eat that. You could be enjoying life, but you stop yourself. I can't go that way because I don't go that way. I can't eat that. You're just limiting yourself and putting walls around what you can and can't do. Not good. You don't necessarily know what makes you different. Like I've said, you actually don't know who you are half the time. You just know that there's something broken or missing within you, in your mind anyway. You're searching because you don't know what makes you special. This causes tension for you. You might fluctuate all the time in the sort of things you wear and the food you eat, and you might have issues with your gender. You want to be different. And maybe there's a lot of transgender people that are type 4s because they're dealing with issues of their identity. They're on a quest to find out who they are by looking inward. Always looking for that identity by what you dress, what you wear, what you eat. Who am I? And you might change that a lot. You might be a goth one minute and a vegan the next, and then switch back to vegetarianism again, or then back to eating meat. You're not quite sure who you are. You go through phases of different clothes and foods and fads and things like that. And it's all to do with the quest of finding out who you are. You've got quite you secretly wish you could enjoy the confidence and feel that you fit in. Often people say you're a bit weird, but you know what? You prefer to be known as weird than could be completely invisible to people. So for you, your biggest fear is being pushed aside, to be invisible. Even if someone says, my God, you're weird, you prefer that to not being noticed at all. Very elitist attitude. I'm different, so I don't fit the rules. The rules don't work for me. You can see every exception to the rule, and you are that exception to the rule. You judge others for fitting in, and judge others for doing the same thing as other people. But then you judge others also for trying to stand out. Whether they try and fit in or stand out, you've got this elitist attitude that you've always got something to moan about whatever they're doing. Oh, look at him, he's wearing the same jeans as everyone else. Oh, look at her, she's trying to be different. What do you want people to do? You're just always gonna judge them. If everyone else likes something, then you can't like it. If I have the same things as others, then what makes me special? If I watch the same films and eat the same food, what makes me special? You move away from what others expect, because remember, you're special, you're different, you're unique. You live in an idealized emotional world of perpetual disappointment because no one ever or nothing ever fits your ideals. Your expectations are always crushed because your ideals are normally more than what people can deal with. Romantic, idealized, dreamy, very deep, emotional, melancholic, and often frustrated with life. But you also have this elitist arrogance and pride, like I'm different from you. I'm more needed, more necessary, looking down on others. So you can go from either side. You can either say I'm rubbish, I'm broken, everyone else is better than me, but you can also swing the other way and have like a kind of arrogance and pride. I'm different. I don't break the mold. I break the mold. So I'm more necessary and more important because I'm a rarer person, or whatever it is. So you can swing between the two. Guidance. Okay, so it's important, guys, if you're a 4, that you don't rely on your stormy feelings. Okay, they're not who you are. Just enjoy what you already have and what already exists. And remember that emotions are just a fleeting thing. They don't define you, and they don't tell you who you are. And you won't find who you are through your emotions, because they're fleeting. There's other ways to find out who you are. Feel the emotion, let it pass. Emotions are not who you are. Okay, I can't say that enough. They describe who you are in that moment, but they don't describe who you are. So commit more to contributing to the world. Instead of staying in your thoughts and your emotions and your mental state, act. Don't put things off. Do the mundane things, even if you do them in your own way. Wear the uniform for work, even if you make it a little bit different to show your identity, show your difference. Let the emotions pass. Get up and take action. That's a big thing, the big guidance thing for the type 4. Don't be in such an idealistic inner world. Go more into the real world. Look outside yourself. Do the mundane. Go to work. Put on the uniform. You're happiest when you're working anyway. Just show up to life, contribute, be productive. Don't be sitting at home in your emotions and thoughts all day. Don't move fully from introspection, because you'll always be that 4, you'll always be introspective, but move away from introspective a little bit and be more balanced. You don't need any more time to plan or to think or have an emotion. You're ready to get out there. So get out there, 4s. Exercise your self-discipline, because that discipline will bring you the freedom that you want. Have regular hours sleep, eat at regular times, go to work at regular times. You're not free of following the rules like everyone else. Where am I? Exercise self-discipline, talk openly with people or a person you trust, serve others and contribute physically to the world. Refuse the tendency to bring up the past. Talking about unfulfilled relationships, you have a tendency to hold on to things. You need to get by things that have happened to you in the past and move on and move forward. So try and catch yourself when you're reminiscing and, feeling upset about what people have done to you in the past. You want to avoid doing that. A difficult upbringing doesn't mean you're free of following the rules. You need to follow the rules like everyone else. You're no different to anyone else as much as you like to believe you are. We're all individuals, but we're still, unfortunately, privy to the same rules. You can get over the pain of others. You can get over the pain others may cause you. You don't need to hold on to it and let it ruin your life. Dwelling on what other people have done to you isn't good for you. They get on with their life and carry on. It's you bringing yourself down by dwelling. Poor me. It's like a victimhood. You've got to get by that. You've got to grow yourself a pair. Okay? It's not about what people have done to you in the past. What have you done in spite of that? It's not what happens to you. It's how you respond to it that counts, type 4s. So don't let don't let yourself be brought down by what people have done to you in your past. Beware of how you speak to yourself. Be a friend to yourself. Okay, don't put yourself down. I know we all do that to a certain extent, but 4s are geniuses at it. Treat yourself better. You need to realise that others don't think about what you think about. So you being worried about everything and about what you're wearing and about what you're eating and your emotions. Most people give very little thought to that. They just get up in the morning, throw the trousers on, check the hairstyle, and they're out the door. But you give a lot of emotional thought to that. You don't need to compare yourself to others. Just do your best. Don't compare yourself. You can only do your best, because if you try and do better than your best, you're just going to stress yourself out totally. Feelings come first for you, then you think, and then action often doesn't come because you overthink and dwell. This feeling could pass. You've got to get to the point where you can bypass your feelings and think, this is just the feeling in the moment. You don't need to overanalyze those feelings whatsoever. You could just let these feelings pass, just go past your thoughts and just do it. Okay, that's the thing for the 4. Just do it. Get involved with the world, even do the mundane jobs, anything that gets you away from this emotional, mental melancholy that you can put yourself in. We're so getting to an hour now. This is going to end up going over the hour. So when you're at your best, you can't be here all the time. You're always going to be a type 4. But when you're at your best, when you are a shining star, which means you're following the guidance, and you're having a shining star moment, you get things done. You're a 1. You're a positive 1. You get things done. You show up to life. You get things done in an orderly way. You're productive. You create something tangible, more objective, a little bit less emotional, a little bit less subjective. You just turn up and get the mundane done. You get the job done. You can be more external, more practical, show up and do your job and get out there rather than being stuck in your emotions. You set those feelings aside, because 1s, feelings are irrelevant. So you're able to push those feelings aside and realise that your feelings don't define you. You just want to get out there and get it done. But this is when you're shining. You can't always be like this. You can only visit your the 1 fruit trees of amazingness. You don't want to live like that, because you'd just be a wreck. You're essentially a 4, but you show the skills of a 1 when you're shining like a star. So you feel, maybe I am normal, maybe I'm not broken. Actually, maybe I'm okay. People do love me for who I am. You realise that your feelings aren't the best source of information for you. You overcome your self-consciousness and get out there and talk to more people, and you can be a bit more supportive of others. So remember, this is when you're shining. You can't always be this one, because it'd exhaust you. And then if you were always this one, you'd be a one, right? So you're a 4, but when you shine, you're a 1. Okay. When you struggle, because you can be quite, I'm going to go over the hour here, guys. I'm really sorry. I've just gone on too much. So you can sometimes push people away and be moody and temperamental, alienate people, damage relationships. You can be a bit of a prickly person. And then under stress, you start worrying about how you've upset them people, and you try to re-establish your broken relationships. This is the compliant 2. So you drop to the 2 when you're under stress. Under stress, you try to re-establish your broken relationships. You end up sort of sucking up to people a bit, trying to be nice, trying to make amends, being very kind and friendly, trying to make up for it, sucking up with you, really sort of reminding others how important they are to you, basically trying to re-establish a connection. And whereas in a lot of ways this is seen as positive, this is actually a stress response for a type 4. And you certainly don't want to be in this place all the time. You can visit it, but, you don't want to be in this place all the time. When you find yourself, if you're a 4 and you find yourself doing this, recognize that that is a stress response and something that you don't want to continue with. You want to leave the 2 shack and go back to the 4, or try and visit, a more positive number. So we're not just a 4, right? We have wings. So you have a 3 wing and you have a 5 wing. So if you're a 4 with a 3 wing, you're called the Aristocrat. So what we do is, not very many people are balanced on both wings. Normally we favour one wing over another. But if you favour the wing 3, it's important for you to borrow from the wing 5, because when you use both wings similarly, you fly in a straight line and you fly effectively. But if you lean too much on one wing than another, you're going to fly in circles, right? So the 4 brings a little bit of the 4. They borrow from the 4, or you can borrow from the 3. So if the 4 borrows from the 3 and the 5 equally, it makes them more a balanced person, and it helps you fly in the world. Okay, so you'll always have that flaw. So think of the 4 as the body of the bird. Okay, that's the 4. You're always that 4, but you have a 3 wing and you have a 5 wing that you can lean on every so often, okay, to help you get on with the world. And if you have the skills in both, it makes you more balanced. So your sense of difference when you're a 4 wing 3, the Aristocrat, you blend your sense of difference with your need for achievement. I am a winner, but you're different. The competition is about similarity and being the best at being that particular thing. So if you're a winner, that's going to be a bit difficult because you want to be different. How can you win if you're not like everyone else? That's an interesting paradigm. You want to balance recognition with being true to yourself. So the 3 is all about putting up a show. They're not necessarily authentic to themselves if you're a 3. But with that mix of the 4, they want to balance. They want people to know them and recognize them for who they are, not the picture that a 3 would put up. So you have that balance of being who you are with putting up a front. So you're more likely to be authentic, but more likely to put up that front, look at me. You like to be different but better as a 3. Remember, you're the achiever. So you're the sort of person with, my kids don't eat that, my kids are the best, or our family does this, that's different to you, and we wear designer clothes and you don't. They don't necessarily say that, but they like to stand out. They like to be different and stand out. You want people to love you for being different, to admire you for being different. That's the 3. Recognize me for my unique work and style. Recognize me, that's the 3, for my unique 4 work and style. So be flamboyant, intense, unique performer. Love me, everyone. Come on. Show your emotions, but in a unique way. That's what stars do. Present your difference uniquely so that you'll love and admire me. Creative, ambitious goals, sociable, extroverted. Certainly more extroverted than the 4-wing 5, because the 5 is more sort of more of a loner than 3, most definitely. Practical, extravagant, very high class. I mean, you are called the aristocrat at the end of the day. Elegant, disdainful of others at times, quite elitist, because you are elitist as a 4. So you develop your 5-wing. If you're a 4-wing 3, so develop that 5-wing by looking a little bit more at the real data and the factual information. Sort of be less intrigued by the emotion and more objective. Look at the facts of any situation. Look at past the feelings. What was that? Look at the facts. Look past the feelings. Okay, so if you're a 4-wing 3, it would help you to lean a bit on the 5 and look towards more the objective facts, to sit and think a little bit more about the real facts and the objectivity, which will balance your emotional life with what's real in this world. Okay, so a 4-wing 3, that's what you're like, and tip a bit more to the 5 in order to find that balance. So look at the real raw data. Be a little bit more objective about things. Okay, so the 4-wing 5 is the Bohemian, so they're the more objective one. It's enough to know you're different. You don't need others to think it. Okay, you're not bothered about what others think in the 5. 5s don't really care what others think. So the 4-wing 5, you're not so flamboyant with things, the Bohemian. It's enough for you to know you're different. You don't need others to think it. So you're less flamboyant. You're less, look at me, everyone, I'm different. Okay, more quiet, more introspective. Stuck more in your inner world than the 4-wing 3. And intellectual. You reveal your uniqueness in the way you speak, the way you act, maybe the values you have, the opinions you hold. Less flamboyant, but you do show your unique self, but in a more quieter way. More disconnected from the world than a 4-wing 3, because that 5 is quite a disconnected number. You feel that more the world is broken. You can be a bit more, I think the 4-wing 5 is more melancholic than the 4-wing 3. You move away from stage and performance and look at me and don't care how others see you. So it's the archetypal person that's all scruffy, dirty, with their hair everywhere. They just could not care less what anyone else thinks. And they'll walk around messy and don't care what anyone else thinks. They're more about unique thinking. They're very heady. They're very introverted. They're going to be who they want to be and they don't care what anyone else thinks. Ideal standards, present their views to the environment, very into ethics. So you'd be the sort of person that would like, I only eat certain things. You might be a vegetarian or a vegan. Maybe you'll only wear ethical clothes. You won't wear leather and things like that. Or it might be how you think that's different. Or it might be all 3. You have a unique way of expressing and thinking. Less concerned with status, how others see you, than the 4-wing 3 for obvious reasons, because the 5 don't really care what others think of them, but the 3, they do. More introverted than the 4-wing 3, live more in their imagination. The real world is boring to a 4-wing 5. You like the weird, the unusual, the eccentric. You're a rebellious outsider, baby. And you can develop your 3-wing by being more careful, really, how you come across to others. Care more about how others feel and how you make other people feel. So being more careful how you come across to others would be a great way for somebody that focuses on their 5-wing. Balance that onto your 3-wing by being careful how you come across to others. And remember, if you balance those 2 wings, you're going to fly. Use your wings to fly. So the 4, think the main body of the 4 is very internal with their emotions, but 3 makes it more flamboyant. Look at me, you show yourself to the world, but the 5, you don't necessarily have to show that difference to the world. You know you're different. So it's a difference. You can lean on your 3 when you need to be a bit more flamboyant and you need to show a bit yourself to the world a little bit more, but obviously you still lean on that 5 when you need to be a bit more introspective. You need both really to be balanced. Different and better action. You know, you act when you're a 4 wing 3, you act and you want to be better and you want to achieve and you want to do. But the 4 wing 5 is different they're more different in their thinking. So if you're leaning on both of these wings, the 4 wing 3 would be the action orientated. You do things that show that you are different. Okay. And on the other side, if you lean on the 4 wing 5, you're different. You bring the thinking into it. It's not just what you do, it's what you think. And when you balance those two, you don't act without thinking or think without acting. You do both. You think, then you act. Okay, then that balances you. So instead of just spending your life in your head and never doing anything, if you lean a bit on the 3, you're more likely to act on your emotions. Do you see what I'm saying? You have a sense of different, and you blend that with achievement, more the process of creativity than achieving or winning. So if you lean on the 5, you're more interested in the process of creativity, actually getting it done. You see what I'm saying? But with the 4, it's more that sense of difference. So look down these 2 columns, and balancing these 2 ways of being is the way that you use your wings to fly. So remember, I'm going to go straight to the bottom here. If you're a 4 wing 3, develop that 5 wing to balance yourself out. Look at the real data. So to be more of a 5, look at the real and factual information. Sort of tip away from the emotion a little bit, be a bit more objective, look at the facts, look past the feelings onto a more objective, and this will balance your emotional life with what's real in the world. If you're a 4 wing 5, the more introverted, you know, you need to think about more how you come across in the social world. Stop hiding yourself away, get out there and get on with others. Think about how you treat others, look past the facts and the objectivity. Use a bit more subjectivity and emotion and be a bit more emotional. Balance the 2. Both of those are helpful, and in some ways, some situations, the 3 will be more helpful to the 4, and in some situations, the 5 will be more interesting to the 4. But the ability to use both them wings will make you that balanced 4. I really hope you've liked my video today. I'm really sorry it's like gone 11 minutes over the hour, but I had so much to say. If you haven't already, if you liked my video, first of all, please like my video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel because I've got loads more to come. And click that bell icon to keep yourself up to date with my new uploads that I'm going to do. If you need to email me, please email me at katie@soulexplorer.net, or you can look at my website where I've got an online shop, aloe products and a bit of information on my website. And I'm also going to put in the description box links to my Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn and Twitter, so you can connect to me on social media. As ever, guys, before I say apologies for the long video, it's gone way over today. I was clearly too much verbal diarrhea, clearly still doing. Trust the soul within you. It's your gut and your own perceptions that matter the most. So please trust the soul within you. And I will see you soon in my next.